and welcome back. This is my non-beauty favourites, which I said last week I was gonna do. So I've actually noticed that most of the stuff I put together for my non-beauty favourites is actually books or like reading material. But I'm gonna just go through it anyway. It's still non-beauty. I'm not gonna call it book favourites because that's just silly. I'm actually gonna start with all my non-books first, so that if you're not interested in books, you can finish this bit and then go, I'm done now. So the first thing I have is my new Doc Martens. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I got Doc Martens in, I think it was the end of November I got my Docs, and I got them from Shoe, and I did all the stuff you're supposed to do to break them in and like wear them as much as possible without being crippled. If you have Docs, you'll know what I'm on about. And I just couldn't break in my right foot. Like, it was just so incredibly painful. And then my left foot was just really comfortable. And I thought, if I could just wear my left shoe and then wear a different shoe on the right foot, because I loved them so much. And then yesterday, was it yesterday? No, a couple of days ago, I put them on to sort of walk to uni and back, because it's quite close, so it's not too far to walk. And I looked at my feet and went, one of my feet is shorter than the other one. My right foot was slightly shorter, so I took my shoes off, looked at them, the right foot was narrower, and it also had a different sole on it. And then I realised the right foot was a completely different shoe to the left one, even though they look pretty much identical, because Docs are very hard to like distinguish which like style they're supposed to be. So I ended up taking them back to Shoe because I kept my receipt, because obviously these are a lot of money and I thought I'm going to keep my receipt just in case. And I took them back and I was like, you've sold me two different shoes, these are not a pair of shoes. And they were really, really good about it. So this is sort of like a shout out to Shoe as well, because I went in, I'd worn them outside, they had scuffs on, they weren't in very good shape, they were like broken in. And they went, it's no problem, we'll send you some new Docs. So these are my new Docs. I've checked them, they're the size that I need, they're the style that I need, they're both the same, and I just love them. I love them so much. And they are at the moment stuffed with a lot of things, and I've stuck them on my radiator to like soften the leather and try and stretch these out, because I can't wait to start wearing them properly and not be crippled by them. Next non-book, non-beauty favourite is a artist that I found, not an artist like a artist, like a musical artist on SoundCloud, and quite a few people have probably like heard of him. He's like a producer from, I think it's Norway. Pretty sure it's Norway. So basically he does like really cool remixes of popular songs like I See Fire by Ed Sheeran, he's done Jolene by Dolly Parton, Electric Feel by MGMT, although it's like a cover of Electric Feel that he's remixed. But basically they're just really nice, chilled out, like electronic style music. And I really, really like it. I think he's been used in a couple of YouTube videos. I know if you follow Claire from Hey Claire, she's used some of his samples in her like New York Fashion Week vlogs. So I would definitely recommend checking him out. I will put the link to his SoundCloud page down below so you can go and check that out. Also, if you follow my blog and you listen to my Feel Good Friday playlist, a couple of his songs were on there, so if you thought, I quite like that song, it may have been KYGO. Now we have book reading material type favourites. So the first thing I have is this, and it's very, very heavy, and it's a magazine. Ta-da! This is good old Miley Cyrus on the front cover, and this is Love magazine, and it's basically a fully fashion magazine. There's no like, it's not like Hello or like Glamour with celebrity gossips and quizzes and stuff. It's pure like, pure fashion. Look at all the fashion. So if you do love fashion magazines but you don't really know which ones to go for, because there's quite a few and I've only just started really finding them. I found this in our WH Smith's in Cardiff, and they sell all of the, I'm going to call them like higher end fashion magazines. which basically have all articles strictly to do with fashion, fashion design, fashion designers, anything that's going on in the fashion world, and I just absolutely love the whole design of the magazine. All the articles I've been really interested in, which I find sometimes with magazines I kind of skip some of them, but I'm pretty much reading it as if it was a book. But I just absolutely love it. And it's great if you have a blog to sort of inspire you for new blog posts. But it's not cheap. I think it was about, how much was this? £6. But it's a biannual one, which means that they only come out, I think it's twice a year. So they have an autumn winter one and then a spring and summer one. This is the spring and summer one. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I am going to be doing like a blog post on all different higher end fashion magazines, so I can sort of describe the kind of feel of each one, because I have this one and I also have Lilac, which is beautiful to look at, but for me personally it doesn't really go with my style. So I think if you're going to pay out like £6 for a magazine, you want to know that you're going to enjoy what's inside. So I'm going to do a blog post probably in the next month or so that describes all these fashion magazines, and you can sort of decide which one will be best for you, because I do absolutely love them. And if you do love photography and stuff like that, there is amazing photographs in here. Next is a book that I saw in Urban Outfitters, and I kind of looked at it and went, I quite like that book, but it was £10 I think. How much is it? No, £14.95 this book is, and I thought that's very expensive. I'm not prepared to pay that for a book. So I went on Amazon and I got it cheaper. And it is the Photocrafty book, and it is full of creative camera projects for you and your digital SLR. So if you enjoy taking pictures on your SLR, then this is for you. It basically describes what settings you need for different styles. So basically, if I show you this bit tells you how to do light trails. This is just an example. It doesn't just have light trails in, but this is a good example. So you know when you see those pictures where they have like cars going past and it's just like streams of light, this tells you how to do it and gives you examples on this side. And then in this bit it says kit, and it tells you everything that you'll need, and then it gives you a full description of all the settings you need to have it on to get the effect, where you need to do, tips you need to, where you need to do, where you need to be, tips you need to do, and just, yeah, just basically tells you how to do it. And it has lots of other stuff. It has how to make like light graffiti, it's got how to make like light stencils. It's basically got everything. It's just a really creative way of taking pictures. If maybe you're a bit bored of taking regular pictures where you point and shoot, this has everything you need to know. I showed this to my sister recently because she is a photographer and she instantly fell in love with it. That's quite a good one. It shows you how to make a light ring with your flash and some, is it tinfoil? Like reflective card to get like the light ring effect if you're taking pictures. So I really like that. I definitely recommend it if you are a photographer or you are just interested in taking photographs with your SLR. You can buy it if you don't have an SLR, but obviously this is designed for SLRs because you can change so many things in SLRs, so love that. And last but not least, I have the book that I'm reading at the moment. I'm doing really well. I'm very proud of myself because I am reading it consistently, which is something I'm not very good at. And it is the book Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. And I think this has been made into a TV series in the US. I think it's come to the UK at the moment. But yeah, at first I was kind of trying to get into it, but obviously I was doing my usual read it for a day and then not touch it for 4 weeks. So it's hard to get into a book if you read things like that. So I have been reading it every single day for the past like 3 days, and I'm definitely starting to get into it. It's really good. Definitely hooks you in. I think I'm about a third of the way through and it's starting to sort of pick up and like explain things and get a bit more interesting. It's a thriller and it is about a man whose wife goes missing, and he's basically a suspect because husbands are always suspects if their wife goes missing. But it's done in a really unique way in where it tells the story of their marriage, but from his point of view as he's like looking for her and trying to find out who took her and where she's gone, but it also does flashbacks where he basically talks about past instances and his view on their marriage. And then it has diary entries of the wife, so all of the diary entries leading up to her disappearance, it has her basically explaining her point of view of the marriage, and it basically makes you confused as to whether he did it or not, because at first you don't suspect him because you kind of get the feeling that she's a bit hard to live with and you kind of feel a bit sorry for him, but then as the story goes on you kind of suspect him a bit more. So I am intrigued to know how it ends, and then I have a lot of other books I need to move on to, so hopefully I will finish this month and then have a new book next month, which I say, but the likelihood of it actually happening is very, very slim. But that is pretty much all for now. I will see you next week for another video. I'm not sure what it is. I have written it down. I'm very scheduled at the moment. But I will see you next week for that video. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Goodbye.